Happy New Year, everyone. We're sending out our best wishes and aloha to all. We all know that 2020 was such a difficult year for many, many people, but the sport of SUP grew exponentially throughout the year. And that's thanks to all of you. Now, we can't do what we do without your support. It's your support that really helps the SUP community grow, and we as a team want to thank each and every one of you. From our SUPboarder Pro subscribers, thank you for your continued support. Our guest bloggers that have written in with inspiring and insightful content. Those of you that watch our reviews and videos online and on YouTube. And even if you have just read one article on SUPboarder, thank you, because it's all of you that truly help to grow the sport of SUP so we can continue to bring you real, honest and trusted advice and information about everything to do with SUP. Now, coming into 2021, more and more people are going to be getting out on the water, so we want to encourage and inspire you to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit and try new disciplines within SUP. But first, let's hear from Ruben, who has some insights into the SUP industry and how 2020 boosted and stimulated the market, but also how manufacturers, retailers and you the consumer may have been affected last year and also leading into this year.
Well, what a year 2020 has been. Obviously, we've got the COVID implications, which have been horrific and affected people in many, many ways. And we've also got how big SUP had got in the last summer of 2020, how popular that had got. I could have never predicted the increase of people getting into paddleboarding in 2020. I wrote an article about the COVID and the implications of how it's going to affect our industry, from brands to retailers to magazines. And I did not see the potential of the amount of people that wanted to get into paddleboarding after these lockdowns were lifted. People were desperate to get outside, desperate to get in the great outdoors and be socially distanced as well. So the SUP really did work perfectly in 2020. Incredibly lucky for us, incredibly lucky for people in the industry. A lot of the brands, a lot of the shops, a lot of the SUP schools, they've all done really well. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be true for everybody. It's all to do whether the shops got in enough stock earlier on in the year. It's all to do with the local authorities if they were allowing certain SUP schools to operate. But generally, SUP has been a really successful story in 2020. Very early on, the factories were getting back on production pretty quick. There was a few delays, and there definitely wasn't enough boards being made or shipped to the countries to fill the actual popularity of people wanting to buy paddleboards. So the summer was crazy busy with people getting on the water, which is amazing. Shops were doing really well, selling lots of equipment. Brands were going from strength to strength and getting a lot of their boards on the water. That very much moved into the autumn winter time. Even in Europe, people were still after paddleboards. Shops were still ordering large numbers of paddleboards and brands were still pre-ordering lots of paddleboards. Looking forward to the early part of 2021 and the summer of 2021, what are we going to expect to see? Well, it's going to be pretty crazy. Taking away the horrible COVID side of things, SUP will carry on growing. There's bound to be more people that couldn't get on a paddleboard last summer that want to get on a paddleboard this summer, and there's also people who obviously bought those paddleboards last summer and really got into it and they want to encourage and go further in our sport. The thing that is going to affect a little bit is there is going to be a delay on equipment again coming into various countries. Not so much with the manufacturing now, it's more to do with the shipping of getting equipment over to us. I know China have got a problem with lack of containers, lack of being able to get the stuff out of the factory or from the docks to the actual consumer. So there might be a slight delay on equipment coming to you, getting into your local shop.
So if you've taken up SUP in 2020, we really want to encourage you to try a new discipline, whether that be catching your first waves on a surf SUP, trying SUP foiling for the first time, going on your first downwind paddle, or even entering your first local race when they start back up again. A big area of SUP where we want to encourage you is SUP touring, and maybe venturing out a little further afield than you normally would. Even just a further paddle for a picnic lunch, or turning it into an overnight SUP adventure and exploring your local waterway is a fantastic way to get away from it all and be amongst nature. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of the wind, but since trying out winging and wing foiling, I'm learning to really embrace the wind. The sport has such a fast learning curve, it's so much fun, and it gets you outside it into another water sport. Getting into a new discipline not only improves your overall skill, but it gives you extra awareness to get out on the water which is why we all love to sup. After the year we've just had, 2021 is really about trying new things and pushing your limits just a little bit to really immerse yourselves with the outdoors again.
If you want to get yourself on a paddleboard in 2021, make sure obviously check out all our reviews and ask us any questions. If you're unsure of a brand, or you haven't heard of a brand, or there's lots of brands out there that you're just not sure about, and maybe you can't get the board you're actually really after, send us an email, send us a question, send us a YouTube comment, and we'll happily try and help you, guide you if we find that brand you're looking at is a respectable brand that the board is gonna last. Because that is the big thing. After all this, we want to make sure you're getting kit that's not only going to last you, but it's also going to last, and it's good for the environment if it can be. PVC boards, drop stitch paddleboards, inflatable paddleboards, even composite paddleboards, they're not the best things for the environment. So really, we would rather you buy a board that lasted many, many years, didn't fall apart, and you get loads of fun and use out of it.
If you're thinking of getting into a new discipline, you check out all the content we have up on SUPboardermag.com, or even on our YouTube channel. You can learn so many things and get into another discipline in 2021. Remember, we're going to be bringing you more reviews, more coaching videos, more tips, more hints, everything to do with SUP in 2021. So keep an eye out for that, and Happy New Year.